John Carter shifted the weight of his duffel bag on his shoulder, exhaling slowly as he stepped into the bustling terminal of Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. The morning crowd was thick, a never-ending stream of travelers hurrying to their gates, lost in their own worlds of schedules and destinations. And that was exactly what he wanted, to blend in, to be just another passenger navigating the chaos. No special treatment today. No private lounges, no exclusive service. Today, he wasn't John Carter, the high-profile CEO of Skyway Airlines. Today, he was simply John, a man taking a routine flight to Chicago, a man flying coach. His mission was straightforward: to observe, to assess, to experience the journey just as any other passenger would. He had always believed that real leadership meant understanding the people you served, and the only way to improve his airline was to see it from the ground level. From check-in to baggage claim, he was going to feel every aspect of the Skyway experience firsthand. But just as he approached gate C-23, something changed. A Skyway Airlines supervisor stood near the counter, eyes scanning the crowd with quiet intensity. His uniform was crisp, his posture rigid, exuding an air of control. His name tag read Mike Reynolds. His gaze flicked from passenger to passenger until it locked onto John, lingering just a moment too long. John barely had time to glance at the overhead monitor to confirm the gate number before the first question landed. "Excuse me, sir. Are you sure you're in the right place?" John turned, meeting Mike's sharp, scrutinizing stare. "Skyway Airlines, Flight 317 to Chicago." "That's correct, right?" Mike didn't answer immediately. Instead, his eyes drifted over John's casual outfit, a plain gray hoodie, well-worn jeans, and sneakers. Something about the way Mike was looking at him was different, uneasy, as if something just didn't sit right. "Can I see your ticket?" John hesitated but pulled out his phone, holding up his first-class boarding pass. Mike took his time. Too much time. He tilted the phone screen, scanning it once then again. Checking. Double-checking. Meanwhile, other passengers walked past, barely needing to flash their tickets before being waved through. But not John. He was being examined, studied like a counterfeit bill under a bright light. Mike's lips pressed into a thin, doubtful line. "Do you have an ID?" John felt his jaw tighten. "I already went through TSA," he replied evenly. "I understand that, sir, but I need to verify something." John inhaled slowly, forcing himself to remain calm. Then, from the corner of his eye, he saw another Skyway employee, a blonde woman in uniform, her badge reading Samantha Walsh. She leaned toward Mike and whispered something in his ear. Mike's expression darkened. "Sir, I need you to step aside." John clenched his jaw, suppressing the sharp response that threatened to surface. He glanced around. Other passengers, businessmen, college students, elderly couples, were moving along undisturbed. No extra screening. No suspicion. A few feet away, a young black man in a leather jacket, Ethan Blake, watched carefully, phone slightly angled, the camera lens just visible. "Recording. Is there a problem?" John asked, his voice controlled. Mike straightened. "We've had reports of suspicious activity in this area. Just following protocol." "Suspicious?" John forced a thin smile. "I see. And does protocol involve stopping certain passengers more than others?" Mike's jaw tensed, but before he could respond, two uniformed officers appeared beside him. "Sir, we need you to come with us," one of them said, his voice firm. His name tag read Daniels. John exhaled. Passengers whispered. Some averted their gaze, pretending not to see. Others stared, unfiltered curiosity and judgment in their eyes. John knew he had options. He could pull out his business card, reveal his identity, demand to see the airport manager, and have the situation shut down in seconds. But he didn't. Instead, he squared his shoulders and followed the officers. DFW Airport, Security Office. 10 minutes later, John sat stiffly in a sterile, windowless room. A metal table separated him from Officers Daniels and Baker, who loomed over him like he was already guilty of something. Daniels crossed his arms. "Mind telling us what you were doing at gate C-23? John let out a short breath, almost a laugh. Boarding my flight, like everyone else. Baker scribbled something on a notepad. Do you fly often? John raised an eyebrow. What kind of question is that? Just need to establish some details. Details? John folded his arms. Like the fact that I had a valid ticket? That I was a paying customer? Or that I was stopped for absolutely no reason? Daniels leaned in slightly. Look, sir, you're free to cooperate, or we can make this more complicated. John met his stare, unflinching. Oh, trust me. You already have. Skyway Airlines, New York headquarters. Lisa Monroe's phone buzzed just as she stepped into a conference room. She glanced down at the urgent message. Mobile phone with arrow, we have a situation. Check the video. Her stomach clenched as she clicked the link. A Twitter post, already going viral. Black man detained at DFW for looking suspicious while trying to board his flight. Turns out, he's the CEO of Skyway Airlines. The video played. Lisa felt her breath catch. Mike Reynolds, Samantha Walsh, the officers, and John, standing tall but visibly frustrated. Inside the meeting room, Skyway's board of directors was waiting. But this was bigger. She hit the call button. We have a problem. DFW Airport, security office. The door swung open and Mike Reynolds stepped in, looking pale. Behind him, the airport manager followed, his expression tight. Mr. Carter, the manager began. I sincerely apologize for this misunderstanding. John's eyes darkened. Misunderstanding? Is that what you're calling it? Mike didn't say a word. He was staring at his phone, notifications flooding in, missed calls stacking up. His face paled further. The manager cleared his throat. Effective immediately, Mr. Reynolds and Ms. Walsh have been relieved of their duties. Mike's head jerked up. Wait, what? You're fired, Mike, the manager stated bluntly. Samantha too. Skyway Airlines won't tolerate this behavior. John watched the realization sink in. Mike wanted to argue, to defend himself, but the decision had already been made. For a moment, John felt nothing. No satisfaction, no relief. Just exhaustion. This wasn't over. Not even close. He stood, adjusting his hoodie. I'll be leaving now.